Well, I mean, and the other thing, I don't give a shit how big he is. It's not what wins fights, but yeah, I saw him. He's definitely not bigger than me. I stood in front of him. He's definitely not taller than me. Maybe a little, maybe like half an inch, but I don't know. But yeah, you'll see.
I am not going out there to defend anyone. I'm the hunter. I'm going to hunt. I'm not defending. I'm not planning on running away or trying to get away from it. That is the mistake, I believe. I believe that's the mistake people make. You go in there, it's the octagon. You know, the guy, if you try just run away, you're immediately giving him the sense that you don't want to be in that position. That's not the case for me. I'm going out there to attack. I'm going out there to attack, and whether it be on the ground, whether it be in the clinch, or whether it be in the striking, there's no place I prefer. So I'm going out there, and man, wouldn't it be sweet to get that submission?
Dricus Du Plessis has just fired at Khamzat Chimaev ahead of their upcoming clash on August 16. However, Dricus Du Plessis told Alexander Volkanovski that facing a specialist like Khamzat Chimaev is similar to fighting elite strikers such as Sean Strickland or Israel Adesanya, as it's the same level of mastery, just in a different discipline. He explained that Chimaev's expertise lies in wrestling, grappling, and relentless pressure, and the best way to prepare is to put himself in those uncomfortable positions during camp. Du Plessis said he doesn't approach training with the mindset of completely avoiding takedowns, because if it happens in the fight, he needs to be ready to respond, just as fighters must accept that getting hit is inevitable in MMA.
And you can only imagine when you're fighting a guy, a purist in a form like that. You know, I've been in there with the purists when it comes to boxing with the Strickland. I've been in there with the striker of Adesanya, the pure, perfect technique when it comes to striking. And, you know, this is just on the other side of the spectrum. You know, he's just on the other side of the spectrum where his purity and his area where he's the expert is wrestling and grappling. And more so just overwhelming with pressure. So that is, you know, it's literally the same thing, just in a different style. And how do you prepare for that? You put yourself in that uncomfortable position, like you say, and you make sure that you don't go into this camp and think, oh, I'm not going to let him take me down. He won't take me down. No ways. Because if this happens in the fight, what are you going to do? Now you're like, oh shit, he took me down. No, it's MMA. It's like saying, I don't want this guy to hit me. I understand nobody wants to get hit, but you're probably going to get hit. So, you know, brace for that and be prepared for when that happens. So
he added that if Chimaev takes him down, he'll deal with it, noting that he's been taken down before and has always managed to get back up. Having faced strong wrestlers and grapplers in the past, Du Plessis sees nothing in this matchup that can't be handled. He pointed to examples like Jack Della Maddalena embracing grappling exchanges rather than avoiding them, saying the sport has evolved into an era where fighters must accept and prepare for all scenarios, because avoiding a weakness only gives opponents a way to exploit it.
Yeah, like I said, if he takes me down, then we deal with that. I've been taken down before and I got back up. I've been doing this sport for a very long time. I've faced good wrestlers and grapplers before. It's nothing that can't be handled. I mean, you look at a guy like JDM, who fought Belal. He embraced that. He didn't try and run away from it. And I believe the sport has gone and evolved into an era where it's about embracing everything that the sport has to offer, because if you have one area where you don't want to be, people are going to find a way to get you there.
However, Dricus Du Plessis dismissed claims that Khamzat Chimaev is significantly bigger than him, saying he stood face-to-face with Chimaev and did not see much of a difference, maybe half an inch at most. He emphasized that size is not what wins fights, making it clear he is unfazed by any talk about physical advantages.
I stood in front of him. He's definitely not taller than me. Maybe a little, maybe like half an inch, but I don't know. But yeah, you'll see. Well, I mean, and the other thing, I don't give a how big he is. It's not what wins fights, but yeah, I saw him. He's definitely not bigger than me.
Dricus Du Plessis further said he envisions the fight ending with him winning the belt back. He explained that when they walk into the cage, there will be no champion and both will be fighting for the title, but he's confident he'll leave with it. He added that he does not focus on how fans view his opponent. To him, every title defense brings the next best challenger, and Chimaev is simply the next step on his path to becoming the greatest.
I visualize this fight with me winning the belt back. You know, when we walk out there, the belt is given. There's not a champion. when we walk in there, both of us are fighting for that title, and I know I'm going home with that belt. You know, as far as he goes, I mean, I don't care what the fans see. Every time I defend that title, there's going to be a next best guy, and that's how I see him. He's the next step. He's the next guy on my way to becoming the greatest, and that's all he is. So I know it's going to be an electrifying fight. Whether it goes 5 rounds or the first round, it will be what people expect.
Furthermore, Dricus Du Plessis told Robert Whittaker that his strength has been built over years and will not fade, but he is focused on becoming stronger in specific positions. He explained that wrestling and grappling require completely different conditioning from striking, so his camp has emphasized training in difficult, draining positions to build endurance there. Du Plessis said, "The key is never allowing an opponent to rest or feel comfortable while he's uncomfortable, ensuring he can work his way out without wasting energy unnecessarily."
I think your strength in this situation, your strength is going to be something that's built over years. It's not going to go away. That's one thing, but to get strong into certain positions, I think that is a big thing, because all of you would know that your conditioning when it comes to the wrestling and grappling aspect of it is completely different to that of striking. And you see wrestling guys that are super fit and wrestling, when they start striking, they just get tired because they're not used to that movement, and also the other way around. For me, with this, is because my conditioning has been, we made changes to getting in that, like I said, those nasty positions and working the conditioning from those positions. Because if you find yourself in those positions, you cannot go, I'm tired now. The resting there, you cannot allow your opponent to rest. You cannot allow your opponent to get into a position where he's comfortable and you're uncomfortable, where you have to get out and he's saving energy and you're using energy.
Du Plessis further said that if Chimaev gets a dominant position, he will need to spend energy to keep him there, and this idea shaped his conditioning plan. His coach focused on building strength and endurance for tough grappling spots, as well as striking power. After 2 years with his new conditioning coach, Du Plessis feels he has improved every fight and believes the pressure is on Chimaev, noting he has gone 5 hard rounds while Chimaev has not, and has slowed in past third rounds.
And if that happens, if he gets to that position, he needs to use energy to try and keep you there. And that's what our mindset was with this whole thing, and how the conditioning coach had his plan on the type of conditioning we did. When it comes to strength, yeah, there's definitely changes, because getting the strength of throwing a hard punch and throwing a hard kick and being able to move is completely different to having the strength when you're in a position where you have to get up and use that. So, I mean, at the end of the day, we've been working at my conditioning with my new conditioning coach for the past 2 years, and every fight I felt the improvement. Every fight we could see it just improve, get better. The pressure for me in this fight is on him when it comes to that, because I have been 5 hard rounds. He hasn't, and the fights we had gone to a third round, we saw him slow down tremendously.
Furthermore, Du Plessis said that he is not assuming Chimaev will tire and refuses to rely on that as a game plan. Instead, he plans to pressure him from the first round, making him work constantly so that by the later rounds, Chimaev's gas tank is depleted.
I'm not saying he's going in there and he's not going to be ready for that, and his gas tank can't. A lot of people say, oh, when it goes to the second round or third round, Dricus, you got this. How can you bank on that? What if it's not the case? I believe that I have to go in there from the word get-go and fight him. The only way I'm going to get him to not be able to have the gas tank in that third, fourth, and fifth round is by going out there from the first round and making him work the whole time.
Lastly, Dricus Du Plessis explained that his approach to the upcoming fight against Khamzat Chimaev will not be one of cautious defense, but of constant offense. He said he intends to hunt from the first moment, pressing the action in every range, whether it is on the ground, in the clinch, or in striking exchanges. Du Plessis shared that while he is confident in his ability to finish the fight in many ways, a submission victory would feel especially satisfying, as it would send a message about his complete skill set.
I am not going out there to defend anyone. I'm the hunter. I'm going to hunt. I'm not defending. I'm not planning on running away or trying to get away from it. That is the mistake, I believe. I believe that's the mistake people make. You're in there, it's the octagon. The guy, if you try to just run away, you're immediately giving him the sense that you don't want to be in that position. That's not the case for me. I'm going out there to attack. I'm going out there to attack, and whether it be on the ground, whether it be in the clinch or whether it be in the striking. There's no place I prefer. So I'm going out there, and man, wouldn't it be sweet to get that submission?
However, Robert Whittaker said he favors him for this fight, believing he has what it takes to win, especially in the underdog role, which he sees as a smart bet. Robert Whittaker said facing someone like Chimaev is tricky because if you fall into his game plan, it can be a long night, as he excels at imposing strengths early and often finishes fights in the first round. He noted that Chimaev's control tends to fade as the fight goes on and is curious to see if he can maintain that pressure against Du Plessis.
And honestly, I favor him for this fight. I think he's got it. You know, especially playing the underdog. I think it's a good bet to take. It's tricky. I think if you fall into his game plan, which we'll break down much later, I think if you fall into his game plan, you're in for a long night because he likes playing to his strengths. And you see that a lot of his fights that are in the first round are very fast because he takes them there. But the longer the fight goes on, you know, the less that he has control, it kind of deviates. So yeah, I'm pumped. He's very good at a particular skill set. I'm wondering if he can push it on Dricus.
Movsarevlev said he doesn't believe Dricus Du Plessis' wrestling is close to Khamzat Chimaev's level, praising Chimaev's ability to take opponents down, break them mentally, and still carry one-punch knockout power. He acknowledged that Du Plessis looked very strong and big in his last fight against Sean Strickland, but still feels Chimaev is the bigger and stronger fighter overall.
Who do you think wins that fight between DDP and Khamzat?
I don't think that Du Plessis is wrestling even close to Khamzat. When we watch fight with Whittaker, he just take him down and he just like break him. And Khamzat still have big power of punching, right? He can just turn off your light by one punch.
Yeah, but DDP looked crazy strong and big in his last fight against Sean Strickland.
He even bigger than Du Plessis. Yeah.
No way.
Of course he is, bro. He's big and strong as hell. I don't know how much it's in pounds, but he more than 100 kg.
MMA Guru predicted Du Plessis would survive Chimaev's early grappling in the first round and begin to take over in later rounds through scrambles. He suggested that by the end of round 2, the fight could become scrappy. And if it turns into a striking battle in rounds 3 to 5, Du Plessis has a real chance to finish Chimaev.
But Du Plessis is going to survive the grappling in round 1 of Khamzat Chimaev, in my opinion. But once they're sweating, and once they've been through a couple rounds, and once they've scrapped it out a little bit in the fight, they've gone back and forth in some scrambles, I think we're going to see Dricus start to take over. Late in the second round, towards the third, I think at the end of the second round, you're going to be going, hang on a second, this is getting scrappy. When Gilbert Burns full guard, Chimaev let him the back up. But once Chimaev didn't have the back or mount over his opponent, he didn't want the ground game. But I think at a certain point, come at the end of round 2, round 3, round 4, round 5, this will turn into a striking match. And if it does, I think Du Plessis can finish him. Dricus is a champ.
Michael Venom Page admitted he's still puzzled by how Dricus Du Plessis has managed to reach such heights, describing his approach as unpredictable, almost like a newcomer throwing odd techniques that somehow connect. Still, he credited Du Plessis for consistently finding ways to pull off victories and said that if Du Plessis manages to overcome Khamzat Chimaev, he would never doubt him again regardless of who he faces next.
Talk to me about that main event, DDP versus Khamzat Chimaev.
I just don't get why Du Plessis has achieved so much, because and again I say it sounds like I keep saying it. I keep saying sometimes you can spar some, you know, like new guys in the gym, just like they don't have the experience, but they hit you because they do some crazy stuff. They can wing their hands and just do random stuff and it lands because it's not a conventional punch or it's not a conventional kick. That's what Du Plessis represents for me, but at the highest level. But one thing he does exceptionally well is he knows how to grind out a win. He seems to find his way to success. I'm telling everybody, this will be the last time I bet against him. If he beats Khamzat, I'm never betting against him ever again. Like, I'm literally ever again. I don't care if you lot are telling me he's going to be fighting John Jones.
Brendan Schwab called Dricus Du Plessis one of the toughest fighters in UFC history and said it's never wise to bet against him. He pictured Chimaev starting fast, winning the first 2 rounds with heavy grappling but failing to finish.
DDP, if he's tossed anything, you don't bet against DDP. To me, he's top 5 toughest dudes ever to grace that octagon. Another question is, let's say Khamzat comes out like a banshee, which I expect him to. Let's say he comes out that Chechnyan demon in him, and he's shooting and he's doing that and he's having success and he's even winning the first 2 rounds. But DDP's not going away. I think I could see it the first 2 rounds. Khamzat's dominating. Like DDP's getting up and he's getting back to his feet, but he's getting taken down. Khamzat's getting his back, but he's not finishing him. And the round's going on, and the round's going on. And Khamzat's having success, and he's even won those first 2.
In the later rounds, he sees Chimaev slowing down and DDP defending takedowns, staying upright, and landing big shots. Schwab said this is the most likely outcome, but also allowed for the chance that Chimaev could be a rare talent who storms through DDP early, forcing a mistake in finishing with a quick submission.
What happened in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th? When Khamzat's getting a little tired. And DDP still just defend the takedown. And then eventually, Khamzat slows down enough where DDP starts to land. He's a big dude. And Khamzat hasn't been in those deep, deep waters. Then what? If I had to bet on it, I'd probably bet it goes like that. Or am I completely off? And Khamzat is a once-in-generational talent, and he annihilates him in the first round. And DDP can't handle that onslaught, that Chechnyan demon, and he just makes a mistake and Khamzat gets his neck.
Rampage Jackson said it is tough for him to choose against a fighter who trains at Jackson's, and since Khamzat Chimaev has always looked dominant in his fights, he's picking Chimaev to win. He predicted the fight would end in the 3rd round.
Khamzat, yeah, so you said he's looking good. He's also training with Sam Calavita, TJ Dillashaw's old trainer. He's training here, fighting Dricus, who's been a great champion so far. So what do you make of that matchup?
It's hard for me to go against anybody that's training at Jackson. You know, you got to Khamzat, he's always been a beast every time I've seen him fight. So I'm going to go with Khamzat. I think he's going to take it.
Which round?
I'm thinking around like the 3rd round. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Tom Aspinall said he will never doubt Dricus Du Plessis again because he always finds a way to win, but admitted Khamzat Chimaev is a beast. He added that if Chimaev gets back control and starts his takedown to submission sequence, it could cause serious problems, making the fight hard to predict.
Tom, how do you see the fight going?
I will never ever think that DDP is going to lose again. He just finds a way to win. Against Khamzat Chimaev though, someone that I've shared a card with a couple of times, Khamzat Chimaev is an absolute beast. If he can get that back control and start that cycle that he does, of dragging guys to the ground, going for the submission, so mate, the answer is, I don't know.
Bilal Muhammad voiced his backing for Chimaev while playfully teasing Dricus Du Plessis. Before the Chicago event, he humorously told Du Plessis not to come to him for food or training assistance, and cautioned that he was not welcome in the city, then firmly predicted Chimaev would come out on top.
Also, heard Dricus in Chicago. Bro, this is my city. Big card next week. Huge main event. You need anything from Chicago, food, groceries, therapist, cage, gym, sauna. Make sure you don't hit me up. You're not welcome here. Chicago, you see him, you let him know. You don't like his kind. Go Khamzat.
Demetrius Johnson warned Dricus Du Plessis about Khamzat Chimaev's relentless grappling approach, noting that once Chimaev closes the gap, his focus shifts entirely to control. He said that surviving against him requires strong wrestling defense and a complete skill set. As Chimaev steadily works to secure dominant positions, disrupt an opponent's base, change angles, apply hooks, and mix in strikes until he can lock in a choke or crank submission. Johnson emphasized that Chimaev's style is built in constant wrestling pressure rather than stand-up fighting.
When you look at Khamzat, you have to look at him when he jumps on you, you better be ready for the best. You better have the best wrestling, anti-wrestling and fighting skill ready to rock and roll, because once he locks on, he's going to be looking to go to that position, which I call it home. He's going to sit there and wait, and then he's going to, let's see what you're going to do. Once you start the post, he's going to take out that post. He takes out the post. He's going to jump to the other side, take out the other post, get his hooks in, and beat you up until you give him your neck or neck crank, and he's going to take it. That's what he wants to do. He doesn't want to do anything on the feet. If he could, he would wrestle all day, every day.
Den Thomas noted that while Khamzat Chimaev showed grit in his fight with Gilbert Burns, it is not something seen often in his career. He mentioned that Chimaev's bout with Kamaru Usman revealed signs of him slowing down after a strong start. On the other hand, Thomas highlighted that Dricus Du Plessis is known for pushing hard late in fights, especially in the 5th round, where he refuses to be outworked. Because of this, Thomas said he would favor Du Plessis if the fight reaches the later rounds.
See, I think that comes down to, well, we know that Khamzat has shown to be a dog against Gilbert Burns, you know, so he did that. We haven't seen it often, but we know what it looks like if it gets late with DDP. So I still have to side with, if it's late, I still have to side with DDP, just because we know what he's going to do. We know he's not going to let another human being beat him in the 5th round, right? Like his 5th rounds are just, he really finds another burst of energy to win in the 5th round. So I'm not sure. We've seen it against Gilbert Burns, but we didn't see that with Kamaru Usman. Like we saw him kind of go, "Yo, I won the first 2, so I'm good." You know what I'm saying? So
he slowed down quite a bit.
Yeah, slow down quite a bit. So I think if it does go late, I would still favor Dricus Du Plessis.
Yeah.
That's it for today's video. So what are your thoughts on this? What do you think about their upcoming fight? Would love to hear your thoughts on their upcoming clash, so share your thoughts in the comments section and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video. Also, check out our other videos on the screen right now.